That's what happens when gasoline plays a matching. Oh yeah. And that's what happens, happens, happens. And that's what happens when gasoline plays a matching.
What is good? I mean, what is really good, my people? It is UK. Try to brother Dr. Blick, the darkest man around. And today, guys, I'm going to be talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ. And today, we are going to be talking about the story mode. So you better get that fried chicken and that glorious Kool-Aid and sit them cheeks down, because I'll be discussing this with Mr. Tekken 101, Tekken himself, bro. When you buy Tekken, you see his face on the front cover. That's how much Tekken he is. Vengefulwilberg is on my channel today. Say hello to the people.
Man, you're giving me too much hype, because honestly, I don't see that happening. But if my face ever shows up on a Tekken cereal box, hell yeah, bro.
Like, oh, I didn't
again.
see you there.
That's right, I didn't see me there. So thanks again for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with your boy Dr. Blick. And so yeah, man, I am ready whenever you are, my boy.
Okay, so today, like I said, we'll be talking about the story mode for Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I'm gonna let Venge take this over. So Venge, you played a lot of fighting games. You've played games like Tekken, of course, the story mode Tekken. I know you played that, and I know you played the previous Guilty Gear story mode. So when it comes to the story mode for Dragon Ball FighterZ, what can the community expect? And yeah, just tell us what the community can expect when it comes to Arc System Works and their story modes, because we know that they like to have a story mode in their stuff. So yeah, take it away, man.
Woo! Alright, I'm going to try to keep this as straightforward and as quick as possible, because I don't even know where to start, especially doing something like this, starting off like this. But the first thing that I will say is, out of all of the fighting games out there, I've actually enjoyed Arc System Works story mode the most, because I felt like they did work with what they had and it was fairly effective and it was a bit engaging, especially with the comedy that came along with it. I'll leave the Tekken part out, but I will just say this about Tekken, because yo, story mode is freaking lit. Probably one of my most favorite story modes for a fighting game for quite some time. Short but lit, so that's out of the way. Okay, let's do this. With Arc System Works, the thing that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to their story mode is there is going to be a lot of text and a lot of narrative. Like, you'll have still pictures of characters, clean of course, clean pictures, and it's going to be dialogue between the characters in that particular scenario. One of the interesting things about the story mode of Guilty Gear before Excerpt, because Excerpt's story mode was completely different. I don't think they're going to go that route with this story mode. In Excerpt, it was basically you sitting there watching the entire story of Excerpt. There was no fights, there was no anything. It was like a long ass movie. But with the games, the Guilty Gear games that came before Excerpt, I mean, they were exactly how I just described it, you know, still pictures, dialogue between the characters. But I feel like they may also combine elements from maybe BlazBlue, where you can actually make choices, or depending on the actions that you take in a battle, that could change the direction of the story a little bit. It's really hard to tell what they're gonna do, because of the simple fact that, well, this is not an Arc System Works game. It is an Arc System Works game, but it's not the traditional one, if you catch my drift. We are talking about Dragon Ball, and they have resource material that they can work with. So I feel like what they might do is just go with, okay, dialogue, high-res pictures, talking, maybe have English dub. Not sure how they're going to go about it. I'm really hoping that I see English dub characters from Funimation, you know, like Sean Schemmel voicing Goku and stuff like that. I just don't know how they're going to go about it. But I think that's the route they're going to take. You'll see occasional high resolution cutscenes too, because they do that from time to time. And you may even have like character endings in arcade mode. So, I mean, the direction that they're gonna take is really hard to foresee it, but based on their reputation, I feel like we're definitely gonna see high-res pictures along with dialogue. I'm just hoping that that we actually get like English dub from Funimation. That would be so hype, but I have no idea what type of direction they want to go with that. For all we know, we could get only the Japanese voices and get subtitles, because you've seen a lot of that. However, I noticed the change with Excerpt, because we definitely got English dub voices in Excerpt. So, I mean, it's in the air, but I think my prediction is pretty good. What do you think about all this?
The way you described it, it really made me think of Budokai 3, but with cutscenes. Like you said, there'll be elemental cutscenes, clean pictures. Like, you know how like in Budokai 3, it'll tell the story of the park they're at, then it'll cut to little dialogue with pictures, moving text, different facial expressions on the pictures, and then you go into battle. That's what it really made me think of. But then you said elemental cutscenes, so it felt like it's Budokai 3, but an upgrade to Budokai 3. And bear in mind, Budokai 3 for me, in terms of playing through that story mode, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing from different people's point of view. Even though Kid Buu was really annoying, I enjoyed playing the Budokai 3 story mode. So, if you're someone that cares about the gameplay more than the story mode, then you're gonna be fine, because it's a fighting game. Story mode isn't the main aspect. So, me, when you were saying those stuff, I was like, okay, I can vibe with that. I don't mind that. I'm gonna obviously play it because it's there to be played, and I like playing story modes. But as a whole, Budokai 3 is one of my favorite story modes out there. Even though it does not have cutscenes, it still goes up there as it's being my favorite. But is it kind of like Budokai 3, or am I just like kind of like chatting the BS?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I feel like in some way it is, in some way it isn't, because it's not like in Budokai 3 where you pick a character and you fly all over the map and stuff like that. Because it kind of like depends on what direction Arc System Works wants to go. Because see, in BlazBlue, for the story mode, you have the option to choose a character. And then what happens after that, you're going to play through the story of that character. Guilty Gear, I'm thinking about Guilty Gear 2. They did the exact same thing. I feel like the thing is, they will most definitely, you're definitely going to choose a character, but as far as flying around, that's probably not going to happen. If anything, I feel like there could be parts where either you make a choice and that shifts the direction of the story, and depending on the interaction, that can turn things around. Or let's say there may have been a particular objective that you didn't meet, and that changes it just a little bit. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. I don't feel like they're going to go with that exit route when it comes to the story, because there's no interaction there. You would just sit there like you're watching a CG movie or something, because that's exactly what you did in the Excerpt series, and that would be kind of dull. For me, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, it was like no battles, so it was a little bit less engaging.
I got a question for you. One of the things I would like to ask is how they're gonna handle characters. I mean how they're gonna handle characters. Say if they have roughly 25 or maybe even 33 characters, 36, around about that amount. Like, I'm just saying 36 is a stretch. We're most likely gonna end up with like 24 or 20, like around about that much. Say if we end up with that amount, how will they manage the characters that will be in the story mode? Say Raditz is not playable. How would they skip the arc that Raditz is in, or will they make him playable only for the story mode? That's my question.
Ooh, that's actually a pretty good question. I'm trying to think what they would do. Because there have been instances where there was like story mode only characters. Because I remember there were characters back in BlazBlue where they wasn't originally playable, but in previous like extensions of the game they became playable. They might do that.
They do that. The community's gonna flip.
I have a hard time seeing it though, but I feel like it depends on how far they're going to take the story. If they're literally going to, what saga are they going to start off at? I feel like that's the big question that we need answered, because we don't necessarily know. I feel like they're probably gonna skip arcs. It doesn't look like they're literally gonna start from beginning up to super. I mean, just based off of what we've seen of the roster right now. At least that's my thoughts as of right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I actually totally agree with everything you're saying. Like, one of the main reasons why I asked that question is purely because someone commented down in my video saying, okay, if someone like Raditz is not playable, how are they gonna do this arc? How are they gonna do this arc? Like, one of the main things that people would be wondering, if it's 25 plus characters, how are they gonna do the arcs? What parts are they gonna skip? Because the story mode, if they just have characters that are only available for the story mode, the community's gonna flip, the community's gonna get angry, and if they don't have the characters, you're gonna have patchy arcs unless the story mode is just gonna be random and they create their own and make it like some little mini thing that is like satire, like J-Stars or even Raging Blast 2. Like, you got anything to add to that?
Honestly, it's really hard to answer what they're gonna do. The only thing that I see at this point is maybe they would potentially skip around. For the fact that, let's say, for example, I mean, like, you have Cell, you know, like the Cell arc, right? Maybe they might just skip around to the important parts of the series when it comes to the fights, and maybe use particular characters as like cameo appearances. I don't necessarily, I'm just not sure. This is so different to actually mash together anime with an actual fighting game development team literally designing it. I just feel like that is what could potentially happen, because the reality of it is just the fact that we're not gonna have this gigantic roster of so many characters to the point where it actually makes sense to actually start from point A and go, you know, go all the way from A to Z. I just don't see it. It's really hard to fathom them actually doing something like that, especially if they want to stick to the source material.
Like, the main issue that they have is pretty much, especially with the story mode, it's a touchy area, and the reason why I'm saying it's a touchy area is due to the fact that it's Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is not just a series that's based off a game, something that was made into a game. It's originally an anime slash manga series. It's originally an anime slash manga series before it being a game. So the fact that it's that big and it has that much lore and that much characters and that much impact on the community as a whole, it's kind of a touchy area for people like Art System Works to deal with, because with their games they have more control, because they created the lore, they made it the way it is, they did it like that. It's their series. Like, with this, it's Dragon Ball. They didn't make it the way it is. Art System Works made Guilty Gear the way it wanted it to be and the way it suited them in order to make the game like work. Like, for example, like the story mode for Art System Works could be anything that they want it to be, and they can utilize it using the few characters that they have. With Dragon Ball, you have so many characters, and most likely you're gonna rip the story mode out of the anime slash manga, so you're in a route that you literally have to either include them or pull them out in a BS way. It's one of those things that either way the community is gonna be upset. No one is gonna be happy with this roster. The only people that are gonna be fine with it is the fighting game community, because they don't care. They just want people like Goku, the mandatories, to be in, and the extra additions, well, they can be there too. But for the most part, they just want a good game. Like, they want a good game. Anime fans get drawn into detail and then game afterwards, if you know what I mean. But yeah, you got anything else to add, or we can just wrap up this video?
Just one quick thing, like what you just mentioned, this is going to be such an interesting thing to pay attention to, because like right now I feel like when it comes to this game, the community is kind of divided, like completely, at least mainly for the anime side, because they're so serious about Dragon Ball, because they're diehard fans of it, and they would love to see a lot of things be incorporated into this game, but due to the nature of art system works, there's not necessarily a guarantee that everything is going to be there. But one thing that I would like to say real quick, because I saw Maximilian's video discussing what could potentially happen with this game when it comes to offline features, is just the fact that Maximilian mentioned that there's going to be a plethora of offline modes available to the casual crowd. And so with that said, I feel like what they're trying to do is kind of like bridge that gap. The only question is what are they trying to do, because I feel like that is important for them to try to find some kind of way to appease the casual fan base, because like that's one of the reasons why Tekken 7 is actually successful, because of the fact that Harada even mentioned himself. Surprisingly, Tekken, that series is built up. It was built and it's surviving because of the fact that they appealed to the casual gamers, because it was like the community is made up of 70% casual people, where you have the 30% actually being more dedicated players. And that's one of the issues with other fighting games as of right now, where they focus more on the hardcore players and they want to appease them, that they kind of like push the casual people aside. And like Street Fighter V is like a perfect example of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And guys, this is pretty much the video. Me and Venge discussing the story mode. I want to know what you guys think. How would you like the story mode to be for Dragon Ball FighterZ? Leave that down in the comment section below, because I want to know what you guys think. And also make sure you check out Mr. Tekken, because he does Tekken and Tekken and Tekken and Tekken and Tekken. But yeah, let me just wrap up this video. Oh, Venge, you got anything else to add for like closing stuff, or that's it?
Oh yeah, sure, real fast. Yo, if you guys are unfamiliar with my boy Dr. Blick here and you want to know what he's all about doing random skits that are pretty damn funny. You may even see a random cameo from me. Then on top of that, if you enjoy like anime discussions, especially One Piece discussions from time to time, then you got to hit this man up. He's a very awesome dude to listen to, and I highly recommend this channel.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. But anyways, let me just wrap up this video. So please comment and subscribe. I know I say this all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, please leave a like, rate, and enjoy this video. And yeah, this UK Trottler Brother will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.
Peace.